If you've ever watched Michael Jordan play, then you know that there is a pretty good reason why many people believe he's the greatest basketball player of all time. And whether you're MJ's fan or not, you have to admit that he is one of the best ever to do it. His career average of 30.1 points per game is just not something you see every day. As a matter of fact, it is the best in NBA history. But keep the numbers aside, let's talk about Jordan's fluid play, his dominance on the court, and his thirst for victory. And the truth is, money spent on a ticket to watch MJ play was always money well spent. Because if there is anything you can be 100% sure of, it's that you will be thoroughly entertained throughout the match. That said, let's take a look at some of Jordan's signature moves that allowed him to become the legend he is today. The one-handed ball fake. Jordan played mind games on his opponents all the time with his fakes. His one-handed ball fake is just one of those priceless moves he used against his opponents time and time again. For context, Michael Jordan is 6 foot 6 inches with an impressive wingspan of 6 foot 11 inches. His hands could hold a basketball like the average person's hand would hold a baseball. This is why he could execute the one-handed ball fake with such mastery. He used this iconic move against the Washington Bullets' Brent Price. Imagine making a fellow NBA player look like a clueless kid in the middle of an NBA match. This is exactly what MJ did to Price in one Bulls vs. Bullets game. He literally had my guy going in circles trying to find a ball that MJ would only go ahead to sink into the net effortlessly. The one-handed ball fake is legendary, but let's look at the move every player is still trying to copy now: the no-look flip shot. When Steph Curry flipped a shot at the last second and led his team to an astounding victory, Steve Kerr noted that that particular move was one he had only seen one other player perform. And the player is none other than his airness, Michael Jordan. He mostly pulled this move when surrounded by opponent defenders and had little space to move. He would turn his body away from the defenders and, without looking at the basket, flip the shot accurately. The no-look flip shot always displayed Jordan's excellent body control, finesse, and ability to think on the spot. You know what else showed that Jordan could think fast and act fast? His putback dunks. The putback dunk. Even the best players sometimes miss a free throw. But what separates a winning team from others is when there's always a teammate ready to pick up the slack after a missed free throw. And that is exactly what Michael Jordan did back in 1992 when Scottie Pippen missed a free throw. The move displayed Jordan's insane stamina, grace, and coordination. It was also perfectly timed, as if his life depended on the 2 points the dunk earned his team. MJ had several other put-back dunks off missed throws in his career, but he also had other iconic dunks, like his leaning sideways dunks. The leaning sideways dunks. It was not enough for Jordan to slam the ball into the net. He always had to do it with finesse. The leaning sideways dunk was a work of art, but it was also sometimes because of necessity, especially when he was surrounded and in multiple slam contests. Check out his leaning sideways slam dunk in the 1987 slam dunk contest, where he looked absolutely breathtaking, leaping off the ground, turning sideways, then leaning into the net before sinking the ball. His airness might have hidden flying abilities because he is suspended in the air for about 0.92 seconds while doing the sideways dunk. The only thing more spectacular than that is his cradle dunk. The cradle dunk. Even as a rookie, MJ was already dropping some iconic moves. He executed an insane cradle dunk while playing in Madison Square during his rookie season. In that game, he achieved over 68% shooting and sank 33 points while handing out 5 assists and 8 rebounds. But all of this pale compared to when Jordan found himself with an open court and decided to dish out a perfect cradle dunk that turned out to be the highlight of the entire season. Jordan's dunks got better, and he would later become known for one sticking out his tongue while dunking. Tongue out dunk. Whenever the fans saw Michael Jordan sticking his tongue out, they knew they were about to see something spectacular. He had this involuntary habit of sticking his tongue out whenever he was going to score a point, which he says he got from watching his father stick out his tongue while he was working. Although he did try to break the habit a few times, sticking out his tongue before a dunk or tough shot became one of his signature moves. Most MJ highlights you can find on the internet show him sticking his tongue out while executing some wicked dunks. But enough about dunks. Let's go back to MJ's iconic Midair Switch. The Midair Switch layups. Jordan would leap off the ground intending to do one thing, only to change his mind midair and do an entirely different thing. He played this move in Game 2 of the 1991 Finals against the Lakers. In the fourth quarter of the game, Jordan was holding the ball in his right hand, preparing to sink it, then midair, changed to his left hand, and then laid the ball in. That moment was one of MJ's most athletic moments, and it was his first title shot. While you can say Jordan's mid-air switch was necessary, his eyes closed free throw was just pure show-off and still iconic. Eyes closed free throws. You know a player is not human when he casually swishes free throws with his eyes closed. It was 1991, and Jordan played the Denver Nuggets and Dikembe Mutombo, then a rookie NBA player who would later become a deadly shot blocker. To welcome Mutombo to the NBA, Michael had to show the kid how it's done. He stepped up to the free throw line, turned to Mutombo and said, "Hey Mutombo, this one's for you." With his eyes closed, MJ shot the ball and hit the net beautifully. Mutombo certainly learned one or two lessons from that. The first being that Michael Jordan is nobody's mate when it comes to basketball, and the second is, you do not mess with Black Jesus. But if you think that's MJ's top boss move, you obviously haven't seen the move that redefined his career and made him the real king of the court, the Midrange Fadeaway. This list would never be complete without Michael Jordan's legendary turnaround fadeaway jumper. The reason why this move was so good was that it was almost impossible to defend. Like, how do you even defend a player that is literally fading away and can do that from any angle, so you're not even sure where to block? He had already mastered the basics of this move from years and years of practice, but it came in handy during his later years of reduced athleticism. He had to figure out a creative way to score further out from the ring, where he would come into less contact with other players. It was one of the moves that made his career transition a success, and to see him in the glory of it, you only have to go back to the 1994-95 season, where he hit the fadeaway over New York Knicks guard John Starks. Between age 30 and 35, he averaged a mind-blowing 29.4 points per game, telling just how lethal his airness was even while he was nearing retirement. Michael Jordan is one of the greatest players ever to grace the NBA court. For 15 years, he mesmerized the audience with his stunning play and earned the respect of his coaches, teammates, and opponents. His signature moves not only allowed him to stay on top of each game, but they also played a huge role in winning his 6 championships with the Bulls. It is only natural that younger players like the late Kobe Bryant and Steph Curry incorporate MJ's style into their play. Which of Air Jordan's most iconic moments made an impression on you? Let us know in the comments below.